recording to the cloud. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the training that I'm going to get into here today is a training that this same PowerPoint, you're going to notice it's a very old PowerPoint. I did this training. It was a paid training that I went to, and it's very long. It's like 5 hours long. I'm not going to go through the 5 hours. I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but we're probably going to do two different trainings today, and then next Monday we'll wrap it up. Okay. But I did this training in 2013, maybe 2012, but I think it was 2013, and it was a paid event. I think I charged $200 for this training, and it was like a 6 hour Saturday training, and it was full. There was about, I'd say 60 to 70 people on this particular training. So with that being said, it's a very special training that I've done. And again, I haven't done this in years. At least not that I remember. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So you guys are going to notice on this PowerPoint here that it's an old PowerPoint. And let's make sure I got some people are not muted. Alan, please mute yourself. Okay. And Jessica, make sure everybody's muted on. Yep. Let me make her co-host. Give me a second here. Right there. Perfect. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is, again, an old PowerPoint, right? The science of getting rich, how to build wealth and abundance, right? So this brings a little bit of nostalgia to me because I remember where I was at this time. I believe my son Maximus was not even born when I did this. And I would call and I would say that one day I'm going to have a son. His name's going to be Maximus. Maybe we already knew if it was 2013, then we knew that we're going to have a baby boy. But we also talk in this training about how you attract things, right? The law of attraction. So with that being said, we're going to get started. This here is 17. This is not from the science of getting rich, but this is how I started with 17 differences in the mindset of rich people versus poor people. And this is a great way to get this thing started because when I learned these things, I realized, wow, this is so true. I've been thinking differently. So we're going to start with number one is that rich people believe I create my life. Poor people believe life just happens to me. They have a victim mentality. Successful people believe, hey, listen, if it's to be, it's up to me. And what I have, people, I recently shared, I think this weekend, Saturday or Sunday, a quote on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, please follow me. JC Rangel Mindset, at JC Rangel Mindset. Very easy. Okay, if you're not following me, I appreciate you following me. If you get value from this, make sure you guys follow me on social media. So I said people don't design or create their future. People design or create their habits. Then their habits design or create their future. Right? So rich people believe that. They believe, hey, I create my life. Poor people think that things just happen to them. No. You have a say in what happens to you. Do we all have bad things that happen from time to time in business and in life? Yes. But as a great Jim Rohn once said, rest in peace, the great Jim Rohn once said, he says, the same wind blows on us all. The wind of rejection, the wind of adversity, the wind of luck at times, the wind of bad luck, the same wind blows on us all. He says, but it is not the blowing of the wind. He says, it is the set of the sail that makes the difference. See, most people have set their sail to what? To something negative, with their negative thoughts, with their lack of discipline, with the people that they spend the majority of their time with. That is your set of your sail. You go out and hang out with a bunch of bums. Hang out with 4 bums, you're going to be number 5. Hang out with 4 losers, you're going to be number 5. Hang out with 4 victims, you're going to be number 5. But what happens if you start hanging out with winners like you are today? And in business, right? So it's a set of the sail. So that begs a question. What sail am I setting? So here, Jim Rohn also says, life doesn't just happen. Life happens just, right? Let's keep going. So number 2, rich people play the money game to win. Poor people play the money game not to lose. In other words, it's not just defense that wins a game. It's offense. I teach my son martial arts. And one of the things I notice with him is sometimes he's just playing defensive. So I go to watch him train all the time, 5 days a week, 6 days a week sometimes. And I say, son, you're playing too much defense and you're not playing enough offense. Therefore, you're not going to win. You're just playing not to lose. You got to find the opportunities to take advantage. In business, it is taking those risks. The biggest risk is not to take a risk. You know, they've interviewed a lot of people on their deathbed, and they've asked them things like, what are some of the things that you regret? And among the things that they say, like not spending enough time with their kids, or, you know, loving or forgiving, one of the big things that they mention is, I didn't take enough risks in my life. I didn't take enough risks. I say this all the time. Most people live their life tippy-toeing around life just to get to the grave safely. I don't want to tippy-toe through life. I want to go out there and take the risks. Being involved in the solar industry is a bit of a risk, right? You go ahead and go get a nice paying job with a safe, secure paycheck, but the person that writes that check is not the person that have that mindset that you have. Okay, so we got to take some risks. Let's keep going. Rich people are committed to getting rich. Poor people are merely wish to get rich. Rich people are committed. That means, we talk about this all the time, guys. Okay, this is going to sound familiar. Committed versus interested. What is the difference? If you could put on the chat, what is the difference between somebody who is committed to their goals and somebody who's merely interested? And here, let me also, while I give you guys time to put something in the chat, I want to preface this. I am not saying here that having a lot of money is a key to success, because I know some people that have a lot of money that are miserable. I was just at one of those guys' houses a couple of weeks ago. My riches are in heaven. I'm a Christian man. I believe in the Bible. I will say this, however, there's nothing wrong with going out there and doing the best that I can. With the time I allow and dedicate to the business, I choose to be a part of a business that has high income potential, a business model that has high income potential. I don't cheat time away from the important things. I put the creator first, and my family and my business. Okay. So I don't want anybody to misunderstand me, but when it comes to rich people are committed to getting rich, what is the difference? Committed versus interested. Okay, let's see. Let's see here. Okay, by the way, thank you, Jessica, for sharing the handle. So committed people go out there and do things regardless of how they feel, regardless of the inconvenience factor. People that merely wish or are interested in being successful do things when they are convenient. I could get on right now. I don't got a whole lot going on. Or I got a whole lot going on. I got to get done. And I know I got to be on training. So guess what? I'm going to wake up early. Oh, I can't get on training because you know what? I didn't make it to the gym earlier. So I'm going to make it right now so I can't get on training. You'll never be rich with that mindset. Something's got to give. Oh, I don't have enough time for, for personal development. Okay. But you got time to listen to music or watch TV. That person will never be rich. Rich people are committed. First of all, they have a goal. Even the Bible talks about writing goals. He says to write it down and make it plain. Okay. So rich people got rich because not only were they committed, but they actually had a goal to get rich. They actually wrote down to get rich. They actually made game plans to get rich. They were committed. Poor people are merely interested or wish to get rich. Okay, let's keep going. Rich people think big. Poor people think small or not at all. If you are already going to be dreaming, you might as well dream big, said Donald Trump. If your dream is not big enough, oh, hold on. If your dream is not big enough, it's not big enough. No. If your dream is not big enough, I don't know why. Again, this is an old PowerPoint. That's not the quote. But here's what I believe that quote was in 2013. If your goals do not scare you, they're not big enough. If your goals do not scare you, they're not big enough. Yes. I'll tell you a story. In 2010 or 2009, the video is still up on YouTube. I made a go and I went on YouTube and put that goal. I got started with a new network marketing company. I left a $8,000 to $10,000 check to start from scratch with a network marketing company. And I had the drive then that I got now for the way that I'm going to run in 2024. I feel like when I was 28 again. That mindset, that incredible blitz of a business blitz that I'm going to do, just like I did then. I'm going to share that video. And I went and said, I made a goal to make $100,000 in 1 month by my 9th month in this business. I had never even sniffed 100 grand in a month, not even close. I was barely making that a year, or I was about to break that for the year for the first time that particular year. But I said, I'm going to go out there and make, on my 9th month, I'll make 100 grand that 1 month. It'll take me 9 months to get to 100 grand a month. That was my goal. And I went and I did make a mistake. The mistake that I made was, I made a lot of mistakes, but one of the mistakes that I made was I went working 7 days a week, to the point that like 3 or 4 weeks into it, I literally got sick. I got a fever. I was out because I was just working myself to the bone, which I don't recommend. I recommend work 6 days, rest on the 7th. So with that being said, I didn't hit the goal. I didn't get to 100,000 a month, but on month 19, I made $84,000 that 1 month. If your goals are not big enough, if your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. Does that make sense? So if your goals are not big enough, so rich people think big, poor people think small. See, a lot of people, they're conscious or unconscious. Their conscious mind or their subconscious mind is thinking, I got to make enough money to pay the bills. And they're thinking about just the bare minimum. They're not even dreaming big. So therefore, think about it. They say, aim for the stars, land on the moon. Aim for the stars, land on the moon. You could write this down. You can never live a life beyond your wildest expectations if you don't first have some wild expectations. You can't live a life beyond your wildest expectations until you first have some wild expectations. This is not going to happen by accident. This is going to happen by design. You got to think bigger in 2024. Les Brown says, it isn't that people aim too high and miss, it's that people aim too low and hit. Most people are aiming too damn low. That's why, oh man, I got 2 sales last month. Did you ever make a goal to have 4 or 6 or 8? No, I never did. That's why you don't even sniff those. That's why subconsciously, you're not taking the efforts or having the attitude. Trust me when I tell you, when you start to set some goals that are bigger. Grant Cardone has a book called The 10X Rule. He says, whatever your money goal is, 10X it. Whatever your goals are, 10X them. Right? So whenever you have something like that, okay, whenever you have some big goals like that, I guarantee you will act different, you will think different, you will carry yourself different, and your work ethic and your efforts will be different than just having mediocre goals. And let me tell you something, 95% of people, 90 to 95% of people do not even have goals. If you do not know where you are going, any road will take you there. And most people don't even know where they're going. They don't even have it written down. You know what a very rich person told me in 2021, in 2001, I was 18 years old, 2001. He says, you need to get a blue flashcard, and you need to get a blue pen, and you need to write down your goals in a blue flashcard with blue pen, and you need to keep it in your wallet, and you need to see those goals every single day. He says something about the ink being blue is ingrained in your mind better, and you got to make it an obsession. But you first have to even have some goals and give it some thought. Most people don't even do that. Most people have never written down their goals. So again, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So rich people think big. You got to think bigger, faster. That is another. I got a friend. I won't mention his name on here. Initials are D.I. Some of you guys know who he is. I was chatting with him via Instagram yesterday. He did a training yesterday called 7 Secrets to 7 Figures. I've done a training like that as well. And I was trying to get the link. He owns his own network marketing company. So I messaged him, hey, bro, I couldn't get the link. Could you send me the recording? He says, hey, I'll send you the recording tomorrow. By the way, I called you a few days ago. I said, yeah, I called you back. Let's chat over the week. That dude said to me something very important years ago. He says, I learned from my mentor. He said, you got to think bigger, faster. You got to think bigger, faster. Most people never even get to thinking big. And then those people that make it will very often tell you, I didn't set big enough goals early on. I wish I would have known the magic of thinking big. That's a book, by the way, I recommend. The Magic of Thinking Big. Okay. A serious student of success goes out there and reads the book, goes out there and studies successful people consistently and persistently over an extended period of time. Just like being successful in sales takes prospecting consistently and persistently over an extended period of time. The principles for success are all the same. Let's keep going. Rich people focus on opportunities. Poor people focus on the obstacles. Man, there's people in California focus on the obstacle, NEM 3.0. Oh my goodness. And they hear negative chatter. I don't hear the negative chatter. You know why? Because I don't look for the negative chatter. I am not a fault finder. I'm like, there's a problem. You know, when there's problems, you know what I think to myself? There's opportunity somewhere. Where can I find the opportunities in these problems? Because everybody's focused on the scarcity. Think about it. The media, CNN. You guys know what CNN stands for, right? Constant negative news. Okay? I don't pay attention to none of that garbage. They're not going to teach you nothing positive. They're not going to teach you nothing positive. It's a bunch of communists running that anyways, but that's a whole nother story. But here's the reality, okay? Or communist negative news. This is probably a better title for them. But here's a point, okay? That is designed to scare people. People are addicted to scarcity and they're addicted to fear. And that draws more attention. That draws more attention. Negativity draws more attention. Think about it. The news is nothing but negative news, right? They start by saying, good evening. Then they proceed to tell you why it's not so good. And they keep depressing you and worrying you. You think rich people turn on that television box? You sure don't. Now, it's not much of a box anymore. It used to be a box, right? Because, and most people live in a box life. Let me tell you what a box life is. For those of you that don't know what a box life is, here's what a box life is. They wake up in their box bed. They eat out of their box cereal. They shave and get ready in their box mirror. They get in their box car to drive to their box office or place of work. Then they eat out of their box lunch, and then they get on their box car and they drive home and fight traffic after punching a clock all day. Then they turn on their box TV and they watch the communist negative news. And that's how they go through life. Punching a clock, living a box life, fighting traffic. Punching a clock, living a box life, fighting traffic. Why do you think most people are unhappy and unfulfilled? They're punching and fighting all damn day. Rich people don't focus on that. You know what rich people focus on? What they have control over. They focus on opportunities. There's opportunities here. Let's go make some money with some of these opportunities here. What you think about and think about, you bring about. What most people do is they think about negative things. Oh, my bills are overdue. Then they stress themselves with it. I understand bills are stressful. I'm not trying to be, I don't know how to say the word, unsensitive or insensitive, whatever. One of those two is right, okay? Doesn't matter. English is not my first language, okay? So, check this out. If you spend the time focusing on these bills that are not getting paid, are you getting closer to paying those bills or no? No, you're not. This relates to the bulletproof mindset. Why do you, man, some of you guys are going to get a breakthrough today. You guys are going to realize that makes sense. When JC says this training, you keep going through training. You go through this training, you go through this training, this training, this training, this training. This training makes this last training from a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, make more sense. It starts to connect. Now your personal development, you start to connect. This training solidified and made the training from a month ago make sense. But most people are not willing to go through the training to become the person that they need to become. They only do it when it's convenient. I got nothing else to do. It's very comfortable. Got the day off, right? Get in a few hours. Sure, why not? Let me get on this train, see what they're talking about. Sounds like an interesting subject. 10 years from now, you're still going to be living the same life. But you're going to be older. You're going to be more tired. You're going to have more excuses. And if you're a victim now, you're going to be a bigger victim then. I say it all the time. This isn't the feel-good show. This is a JC Rangel Get Your Shit Together show. This is a Pull No Punches JC Rangel show. I pride myself in being the guy that doesn't tickle people's ears. I'm not the nice guy. I'm not some people's, everybody's cup of tea. I am your shot of tequila. Let's keep it going, man. I'll fire myself up. Shit, I don't need nobody on this thing. I'll fire myself up. Shit, let's go. Bringing some fire today to burn the snowflakes. Because you can't get rich being a snowflake. Can't get rich being a snowflake. You got to be a warrior. Let's go. Rich people admire and respect and study other rich people. By the way, I should have, if I would have known better, I would have replaced that freaking guys. That is one of the least favorite people in the fucking world. I say that word on purpose. I don't like to cuss. That guy on that picture, I should have replaced his ass. Okay? I'm not going to get into it, okay? But that is one of the most evil people in the history of mankind. Anyways, rich people admire and respect other rich and successful people. Poor people resent successful people. Look, you want to prove this? I'll prove it to you. Go out there, take your kids out of the school they're in and put them in a private school, if they're not already. Go out there and move into a new zip code. Go out there and change your car. I guarantee you, friends and family members, you will realize that friends and family members are cleverly disguised as dream stealers. Stop hanging out with your friends. I used to have friends I used to play poker with a couple times a week till during the middle of the day of the week till late at night. I stopped hanging out with them because I realized his purpose about the importance of my circle. Then they start saying, man, you've changed. You've changed. Damn right I changed. I didn't work this hard to stay the same. You still live in the garage. You still live with your mom. You still live this. And you live with your mom, not because you're helping her, but she's helping you. Damn right I changed. I'm glad, I'm proud that I changed. Rich people and successful people admire and they respect other people because they understand. Listen, they didn't get there by, most of them, they did not get there by accident. There's a bunch of struggles, a bunch of setbacks, a bunch of risks that these people took to get there. And if you actually study successful people, you will understand that it wasn't easy and they deserve to be there. Poor people resent them. Part of the reason why a lot of people resent successful people is because of the indoctrination system, which is the school system. Okay. The more, think about this, the more schooling somebody has, the more they're against free market and capitalism. Straight up and down, like 12 o'clock. Okay. Bless that which you want. Anything you negate, you will never have. You will repel the things that you don't like. Okay. Rich people associate with positive, successful people. Poor people associate with negative and unsuccessful people. Again, we talked about this. They say in Spanish, dime con quién te juntas y te digo quién eres. It's the equivalent of birds of a feather flock together. See, a lot of us thought that our parents, oh man, yeah, right. You dismissed what your parents said, right? Then we realize when we get older, you know what, man, they were right. Some of you guys are hanging out with people that you know you shouldn't really be hanging out with. And let me tell you something. Some of those people, hate to break it to you. I don't hate to break it to you. Actually, quite the opposite. I love to break it to you. Some of you guys, those negative people, are friends and family. And they call sometimes for a season of separation. Some people are in your life for a reason, and some people are in your life for a season. Some people are in your life for a reason, to help you become successful, to help you become more positive, to help you get closer to your creator, closer to your faith, or whatever it is that works for you guys, okay? And some people should only be in your life for a season. Negative people tend to have a negative bank account. Negative people see, oh my God, you're working on us. I remember I used to work on Saturdays. They're like, hey man, why are you in a suit, bro? And you're in your 20s at the time, right? And you're in a suit on a Saturday in summer. Let's go to the park and play basketball, bro. You're going to another meeting? I was like, yeah, man, I'm going to another meeting. Why don't you come play with us, bro? Come on, bro. They didn't understand. The funny thing is that guy that said that to me one day, I remember I was wearing a tan suit. And I remember I had like some brown, it wasn't a tan suit. It was like a grayish suit. And I had like some brown dress shoes. Doesn't sound like it matches, but it did. Trust me. Looked good. So I'm getting out of my house and he says that to me. He says, let's go play basketball. I said, no, I'm good, bro. I don't got time for that shit. That's what I said to him. I'm just quoting myself. Because he came to my house like 3-4 years ago, and we had a barbecue in my house, and we were playing pool in my house, and you know, we only had a Maximus back then. Alexander wasn't born yet, so he pulls me and says, "Hey, bro, I remember, like in 2006 or something, man. I went up to you on a Saturday at your house, and your brother was getting ready to go play basketball, and I was gonna go, and I told you, hey, why don't you go play basketball with us?" And he started laughing. He goes, "And you said, man, I don't got time for that shit," and you left. He said, "I thought that was pretty rude, but at the same time, now I know you I always knew you were different, bro, because I started having millionaire mentors from afar, and I had the good fortune of having some very successful mentors. But one of the things I noticed about some of these millionaire mentors that I had was, hey, it's not just the money. These guys are great parents. Matter of fact, they have the luxury of being better parents. You know why? Because they have the luxury of working from home, taking their kids to school, picking their kids up from school. They have the luxury of having the mom be at home to raise the children. Shit, that is something to be admired. Forget the money. Did I mention once how much money they had in the bank or what kind of car they drove? No, that's not what I noticed. I noticed one of my friends, his name's Tim, came out of my podcast. Tim Hurt is his name. I remember before I had kids, I went to his house. He had a training for his leaders at his house. First of all, beautiful home. Wife, happy wife, kids running around getting ready for football. And then I remember he said, let me take this off, to one of his children, one of his sons, I think his oldest son, who, by the way, is a football star now in high school. He said to him something so simple. He says, the son tells him something that he did, son tells Tim that he did something that Tim was proud of. Then Tim replies, "Why are you such a champion?" And the son just kind of chuckles and goes away, and he kind of taps him, And I remember that right there to me meant something, because I grew up without a dad. I never experienced that. I don't even remember my dad. Last time I saw him, I was like 3 or 4. And I remember thinking, that is such a cool dad. Now he's his kid's coach, football coach, right? And I remember thinking, one day I'm going to be like that to my son. Now, what if, though, I didn't have the opportunity to take him to school, to pick him up from school, to take him to jiu-jitsu Monday through Saturday, and wrestling 2 days a week? No, forget that. I am interested in success. I am interested in building a business, and nobody could tell me different. Nobody could tell me different. I'm not going to go back. Nothing against working for somebody else. If that's what makes you happy, God bless you. That's not what makes me happy, though. Somebody asked a plumber one day, what's wrong with being a plumber? He says, nothing's wrong with being a plumber unless you don't want to be a doggone plumber. Right? You're not a tree. What do I mean by you're not a tree? You could change. A tree is a tree. It's going to be a tree. It's stuck there. You're not. The only time you should have something in common with a tree, as I could think right now, is right now. Should be a plant. You know what I mean? No, you don't know what I mean. Let me tell you what I mean. You should plant yourself in that seat with your camera on, because plants don't move. That's about as much that you can relate to a tree right now. Let's keep going. Rich people are willing to promote themselves and their value. Some of you guys, like Ramsey, do a great job of that. Poor people think negatively about selling. Rich people know sales is the #1 highest paid profession. Sales. Be proud of it. Be proud to promote yourself and your business and the value you bring to the marketplace, because that's what gets you paid. The value you bring to the marketplace. Poor people think negatively about selling and negatively about that. Okay, let's keep going. Number 9, rich people are bigger than their problems. Poor people are smaller than their problems. Rich people think, okay, I get it. Write this down for your notes. It's a challenge, not a problem. Let me tell you when it's a problem. This is one of the keys that I learned over a decade ago. If money or people can solve it, it isn't a problem. It's a situation or a challenge. Sometimes people get all bent out of shape over something that's like, dude, you realize that it ain't that big of a freaking deal. Think. Instead of just thinking on, oh man, that sucks. It really sucks. It really sucks. Dude, you haven't given one thought to a solution. Okay, we acknowledge that it sucks. Is there a way around it? You have to understand that you train your brain. Most people train their brain to look at an obstacle and stop. Rich people and winners train their brain on, they ask. The quality of your life will be determined by the quality of the questions you ask. Tony Robbins said that. The quality of your life will be determined by the quality of the questions that you ask. What kind of questions are you asking? I'll give you an example. Net metering comes in. They say, California. Here's what people are saying. California solar is dead. I will see on social media. I will see advertisements. California solar is dead. Then I thought to myself, wait a minute. First of all, I know this is BS. First of all, here's why I know it's bullshit. Because the governments are behind it. The world is going to go solar. In Hawaii, they don't have any net metering. We have better net metering in California than Hawaii does. In Hawaii, I know people that are making $100,000 a month selling solar with no net metering. Do not insult my intelligence by saying this BS that California solar is dead. That is for the average person. I am anything but. Are you guys catching my drift here? Okay. So the world is going solar. So I asked myself, how do we know they need a battery? Then as I started thinking and asking myself these questions and running the scenarios through my mind, I started saying, if you really think about it, we're making somebody more self-sufficient. If they have solar without a battery, and even if there's net metering, solar, no battery, grid goes down, guess what? You go down. Your electricity goes down. So that means that it's going to be a blessing in disguise for customers. So when customers see, oh, the electricity has gone down. Yes, Mr. Customer, but unless you have a battery, then you are taken care of. Now, you don't have unlimited electricity. So my questions were, so we need a battery. Okay, great. What do the numbers look like with a battery? What are the other options? Is at least a better option? They're not asking these questions, and people started saying, boom, good question. It's like the creator says, good question, my son. You are solving a problem. I'm going to send the right people to you, and the lease guys come. They say, oh, with a lease, we got a free battery, my friend. Look at the numbers on a lease. Makes so much more sense. Then I started running the numbers. I said, wait a minute. There's positive and negatives, but a lot more positives. Here's a positive I realized. Before, we used to be able to save somebody that was paying $100 a month to $120 a month enough. Now, they got to be paying $150 a month in order to save money. Still makes sense. Then I asked another question. What percentage of people are paying over $150 a month in California? More than 80%. That's a big market. And we're selling them a more complete system. There's more value. It isn't like we're just selling them a more expensive system. We're selling them a more complete, more valuable system. Yes, under $150, they're not going to save money. Over $150, we're going to save them money. More than 80% of people are there. So I start to ask myself questions. You know why? Because I'm programmed to be a winner. Now, I don't feel bad saying, see, if you're somebody that's thinking that you feel weird by me continually saying that I'm a winner, that goes to show that you are not a winner. Because a winner, right here, promotes himself. A winner is confident. Not only am I declaring it for the training purposes, guys. I'm not declaring this just for the training purposes. I'm declaring this to my subconscious mind. You have to understand that your self-talk goes into your subconscious mind, whether it's positive or negative, and you got the conscious and the subconscious, and the subconscious is infinitely more powerful than the conscious. You could tell your subconscious mind, you are a winner. You are disciplined. You are a millionaire in the making. Your conscious mind will say, what the heck are you, like your friend that you grew up with, will say, what the hell's wrong with you? What the heck are you even saying? No, you're not. You're far from it. Your conscious mind, and if you read these books, you'll learn, the conscious mind doesn't know, cannot dictate the difference between a truth and a lie. It will take what you give it and believe it. And it is more fertile than the most fertile ground in the world. It is extremely fertile. I recommend that you read The Strangest Secret, that you listen to The Strangest Secret. By the way, it's on the Team Freedom Training Academy. By the way, Go to the Team Freedom Academy and you'll see all kinds of personal development stuff. There's some fire stuff in there that most people don't use. You know why? Because most people are interested in being successful. Very few are committed. If you're committed, you make the time to make the calls. You make the time to do the personal development. You make the time to prospect. Okay? So rich people are bigger than their problems. Let's see how much time we got. We got 5 minutes. You can tell the size of a man by the size of the problem that gets him down. It's like when I mentioned the story of working in a grocery store. If I'm the bag boy, which, by the way, those jobs are gone more and more, right? But they're still around here and there. What is a bag boy's job? The bag boy's job is put the cans in the bottom of the bag, the heavy stuff, and put the bread and the eggs on top. You solve a small problem, right? You're not going to put the eggs in the bottom and put the heavy stuff on top. You're going to crack the eggs, right? It's a small problem you solve. How much money does a small problem pay? Minimum wage. That is the answer. I want you to write this down for your notes. Stop wanting what you don't actually want. You don't want more problems. You want more wisdom. You don't want more problems. You want a stronger mindset. You don't want more problems. You want the ability to be able to handle these problems and to be bigger than those problems. That is what we really want. You want to make big money. Guess what? Comes with big problems. I got a job that got installed. When did Carlos get installed? Friday. Carlos Garcia, good friend of mine, 19 months to get installed. Was I frustrated? Dog, that's the most frustrating I've ever been. That's the worst job I've ever had. Surprise I kept it alive till it got installed. Oh man, that's a story for another day. But the point is this: pay $7,000 or $8,000 bucks. Am I happy now? Sure am. Sure am. But guess what? There's some like that. There's some other ones. But I'm bigger than my problems. You know how many times I had to call him? The day of the convention, the Thursday. Remember the convention in September? The Thursday, he was supposed to get installed that day. I'm getting ready, getting my wife and my kids and my mom into the Suburban to drive to San Diego. I get a call from the project manager. Not happening. Crews headed back. Not getting installed. Why not? Because of this, because that, because of blah, blah, blah. Extremely frustrating. Okay? Finally got installed Friday. But you know what? I asked for this. I asked for big money. Yeah. Oh, and then after he canceled, then he uncanceled. I had to save it with the bank. Anyways, it was a mess. But I know my identity, and you have an identity. You have to decide your identity. My identity is I am a problem solver. I am JC effing Rangel. I am bigger than my problems. I'm not an average Joe Schmo. That's not me. I am built for this. I am bigger, faster, stronger. I'm the freaking man that 2 young boys are looking at to show him how to be a man, how to be strong, how to provide for his family, how to love his wife, how to love the creator, how to live life, how to treat people well, and how to solve business and make so much money that when you read my checks, it looks like, ooh, that's a guy that I am. That when I deposit a check, the bank bounces. That's a dude that I am. So I'm not gonna be like, oh my goodness. No, it's a bulletproof mindset that I will live by. Man, I get fired up because we live in a world where men are feminized big time. And dude, you cannot be a top performer being a feminine man. You got to be strong. Now, by the way, disclaimer, and I'm going to finish with this. When I say a strong man, okay, that is not, a lot of people mention the term misogyny. It's not misogynist. Most people that mention that term, they don't even know what it means. You ask them, I love and respect my mother and my wife. Okay? Don't confuse the two. A strong man is somebody that provides, that solves problems, that leads. That is what we are creating here. Okay? So today was part 1. Believe it or not, we didn't even get into the science of getting rich. This next slide, I'm going to give it to you, the first slide. This is the first one of the science of getting rich. If you guys got value from this, here's what I recommend you do. It's going to be on my YouTube page on both channels within an hour. I would recommend that you go out, okay, and you rewatch this again and take copious notes. Keyword, copious. Because now we get into the first chapter of the Science of Getting Rich, the right to be rich. The very best thing you could do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself. Here, I'm reading from the book. No man can rise to his greatest possible height in talent or soul development unless he has plenty of money. Which, by the way, I agree with it mostly. Money is not the most important thing. For me, my relationship with my creator is the most important thing. That is my beliefs that I hold firmly. I want to make that clear. As a matter of fact, the best way you can help the poor is to stop being one of them. The poor don't need charity, they need inspiration. Prove it by getting rich yourself. Not only that, if you are poor, there's an orphanage that I'm partnering with next year, January, that I've been donating to for a long time. I'm one of their biggest donors. It's an orphanage in Mexico. Let's make sure everybody's on mute. Somebody's off of mute. Okay, thank you. I only mention, I've been with them for a long time. I only mention it for this purpose, guys, because I believe that the right hand, as the Bible teaches, doesn't talk about what the left hand is doing, right? So here's my point. What if I wasn't taking care of business? I wouldn't be able to help them. I would not be able to help them. I would not be able to help my mom out with her rent. My brother, Louis, and I, and our little brother, we take care of all of her bills. Okay? We would not be able to do that if we didn't take care of business. Okay? So a lot of us were told that we have to be satisfied with what we have. That is not true. Here's what I mean. You should be grateful with what you've got. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about being ungrateful. But if, let's say my mom was still working, I'm grateful that I've got a healthy mom that's able to work. I'm grateful. I'm happy. That doesn't mean I get satisfied. No. I strive for more. I strive to retire my mom. I strive for my wife to be a stay-at-home mom, which she is. My mom is retired. So there's a misconception. You got to be satisfied. No, I think we should be grateful. We should be happy. But that doesn't mean dissatisfaction brought this device that you are watching this training on. Dissatisfaction brought the airplane. Dissatisfaction brought the telephone. Think about it. Somebody was thinking a long time ago, man, I wish I could talk to people that aren't even here. Right? People would have thought this guy's high on something. I don't know if it's drugs you're on or drugs you need to be on. You want to talk. Imagine the days with no cell phones, no telephones. Man, I wish I could talk to people that were not even here. They think there's something wrong with you. Dissatisfaction brought the telephone. Dissatisfaction brought, before airplanes, to wrap people around this big old piece of metal and fly them across the world. Dissatisfaction brought the airplane. Dissatisfaction is going to bring that six-figure earner, that multiple six-figure earner, that seven-figure earner in you. Dissatisfaction is what's going to bring that. I hope you guys got some value from today's training. I hope you guys got some value from today's training. We're going to do part 2 next Monday. And I guarantee you, we're going to continue to bring the training. It's going to be a 2-part training on the size of getting rich. We're barely going to get into it next week. This was just the appetizer. Don't be late. Don't be late. I appreciate you guys. Have a good day. Let's crush it. I got a sales meeting to do right now. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks, Jesse. Killing it, brother.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, JC.
Thank you.
Let's go! Thank you.
Let's go. Come on.
Thanks, JC. Thanks, JC.
Future is bright.
See you at the office.
Silver Surfer!